Welcome to the Michiana Business Podcast, where we put local legends and businesses in the spotlight for everyone in our area to see. If you love small businesses and success stories, then you're in the right place. You're listening to the Michiana Business Podcast with your friends, hosts, and owners of industrial office cleaning right here in Michiana, Caitlin and Alonzo Perdomo.
Okay, hi guys, I'm here again with Tracey. It's another great episode in Michiana Business. This is going to be about mindset, how it's very powerful. Again, remember, this podcast is sponsored by Industrial Office Cleaning. If you need all your cleaning or disinfectant that you need in your facility to keep your people safe, you can reach us in 574-310-7782. See, I get nervous in this area. I don't know why. Well, Tracey, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Well, hello, everyone. My name's Tracey Thompson, and I work with a company called Grow My Cleaning Company, which is how Alonzo and I know each other, and that's amazing and super fun. And my primary job at Grow My Cleaning Company is to be the mindset coach for all of the wonderful, amazing cleaning companies that he has in his program. So I get to talk to cleaning company owners about all the things that they're trying to accomplish in their business. Oftentimes they know what to do, Alonzo, but they just they're not doing it right. Something isn't working. Something's not quite clicking right. And a lot of the times it's not the strategy, it's the story. That's what we call it, the story that they tell themselves. And they're not always conscious of it. So I help them get really clear on what's going on inside their mind, their mindset, so that they can be set up the best way for success.
Okay, but let's back a little bit about. Let's hear about yourself. How do you start this? What make you start helping people like that?
That's a good question. I've always been super interested in the way the mind works, right? Why people behave the way they behave, what makes them tick, what makes them do what they do or not, right? So I think I've always been a student of the mind, of how we make decisions and behavior. So that started really early. However, coaching came about in my world officially, really before it was called coaching. Coaching is a relatively new term, I think, in the last maybe 15 years. Once upon a time, we used to call it consulting.
Okay.
So back in the day, I used to consult with many business owners about why they were doing what they were doing or what they weren't. And I didn't even really, as I said, I didn't call it coaching back then, but I was always really fascinated by it. And I'm big in personal growth, really dig deep into neuroscience and NLP. A lot of people have heard that probably from Tony Robbins, neuro-linguistic programming. So marketing, all of it's just tied together. So I've been on that journey for a while, but officially as a mindset coach in the last 10 years.
Wow, that's a long time. So you got a lot of experience behind that. Talking to different people, different mindsets. So can you tell us, because a lot of people, Navy like me, what is mindset? What is that? What is that start? How did I start?
So mindset is really everything that we think and believe, which affects our feelings, which we'll talk about it in a minute. But it starts with our thoughts. It starts with what we tell ourselves, even when we aren't conscious. Sometimes we're not conscious of what we're telling ourselves, but there's always what I call a story. We're always telling ourselves a story about ourselves, about business, about other people, about life. We're constantly making things mean something. So I always like to say we're meaning making machines. Okay. So whenever we look at something or we talk to somebody, we're making that mean something. So there's a story that goes on inside our head. So some of those stories are really good and they're useful stories and they help us, they inspire us, encourage us. But the truth is, Some of the experts say that 95% of the thoughts we have throughout the day are actually negative or
So
not
please don't say all
useful.
that loud.
Right? It's just so true. And we don't think we're negative. We don't think that we're thinking negatively, but the experts would argue that that's not actually the case. So we just the whole work that I do is to help people get more conscious, be more aware of what they're actually thinking, what's actually going on inside their head, because most of it isn't as useful as we might think.
Hmm. Like for example, thinking something always negative. I'm assuming something you refer to all those things, right? Because in my mind, sometimes I'm like, what about if they don't like that? What about if I'm doing this wrong? And all that, assuming it gets you in trouble and you stop to do things or improve yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a great example. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about some real world examples. When we're in business, we if we're growing, well, hopefully we're all growing, right? We're
Yep.
out there growing, we're stretching, we're trying to grow our business, acquire new clients, whatever that looks like. But the minute we do something or we're attempting to do something that is outside our comfort zone, that's usually when that voice, I call it the monkey mind, right? The voice, right, that comes up and goes, oh, wait, hold on. You don't know how to do that. You're not the expert. You should wait. You don't know enough. They're not going to like you. They're going to say no. All this talk starts. And that's usually comes from a part of our brain that wants to keep us safe, but it's a fear-based part of our mind, and its only job is to try to keep us the same. So it tries to talk us out of doing anything that feels risky or scary or could be, we could be judged or we could fail, any of that. So that monkey mind comes in and it sounds pretty convincing sometimes, like, hey, that sounds like the truth. I better listen. But
Yeah.
but the reality is that it's just like an old part of our mind that we've given a little too much attention to in the past and let control things a little too long. So once we tune in and we hear ourselves, we really hear what we're saying to ourselves when we're trying to grow or do something good. When we listen to that voice, we go, wait a minute, hold on, that is that really true? Then we can start challenging that voice. We don't have to be, a slave to that voice. We can actually take control and consciously think different thoughts that are more useful.
Nice, nice. So how did I how to start changing my mindset if I'm like a beginner? I'm like because everybody when we're an adult, I think we think like we know it all, and you don't want to hear from anybody else like oh, you're wrong, or yeah, let's go there, like you never want to hear like somebody's trying to correct you. You're always trying to think that you know everything. How did I start shaping my mindset to get like a advice for somebody, or stop thinking like I know it all, or I cannot take advice from him because I'm gonna be feeling like I'm lower than him? How will you start address that?
So, well, let's take a very specific example. So give me something, Alonzo, like one specific thing that somebody might be thinking to themselves that isn't useful, like one
For,
one thought.
for example, let's say like people has been in business. I'm gonna use business because I'm comfortable in the area. But let's say like people has been in business for decades. So when somebody try to show on something new or try to like, oh look at this, this can be very helpful for your business, and they like kind of, you can tell like they start like no, I don't think it's gonna work. Blah blah blah. This is my world.
Got it.
Out of the way.
Got
Something like
it.
that.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So just to say it again so that I can speak to it. So someone, if you've been doing things a certain way for a long time, you've been in business for a long time, and you have your way of doing things, and someone comes along that maybe even you respect and want to listen to, but they tell you to do something, or they advise you to do something that is way different than what you've been doing, and is outside your comfort zone. So let's say they tell you to approach clients in a different way, or prospect in a different way. And the first thought you think is, oh no, that's never going to work. Maybe it works for other people, but you know what? I've got this. I've come this far. I don't need anything new, right? And then it starts going off to the races of justifying why they should stay the same and why they shouldn't do it. So that's a really good example of that monkey mind, of the fear-based, voice that says, no, you shouldn't do it. That's stupid. Oh, what do they know? Because it's trying to keep us safe. So the first thing when we start hearing a voice like that, the monkey mind, we go, well, hold on, let me ask a question. Is that really true? Is it really true? And here's the test. Not just true because it feels like it's true. Mm-hmm. Is it true in a universal way? Is it true all the time for all people everywhere on the planet all the time? And of course, the answer 99.9% of the time is no. That's a story. It's a story that we're telling ourselves. Then you can ask yourself, is that story helping me? Is that a good story that's going to take me where I really want to go? Or is that an old story that's going to keep me exactly where I am now? Okay, so, and if the answer is, yeah, that's probably not the best story for me moving forward and growing, then you get to challenge that voice. You get to say, you know what? I think there's a potential better way to look at this. And then you ask yourself, and this is the $1 million question, how might I, right? How can I think of this differently? How could I open this up myself and say, maybe I don't know how this is going to turn out, but if I did, what could that look like? What could the potential be? What good could come from this? And you turn that around. It's a simple shift in the way that we're talking to ourselves and the way we're asking questions. And when we ask really good questions, Alonso, of ourselves, we get better answers.
There you go. There you go, guys. It's all about the questions. You have a better question, you're going to better answer, and you always have to think about it. What is this been working for me in the past? Why it's not working for me in the past? So that's really good. So let me ask you this other question, Tracey. What is the first question? So how do I put it this way? What is the normal question that somebody asks you to you? You're like, oh, this is the question they always get asked, and this is the best simple strategy to start moving forward to change our mind.
Well, usually when I'm speaking to a business owner, for instance, mindset usually comes up when they're trying to accomplish something they're frustrated about. They've been trying the strategy. They know what they're supposed to be doing, mm-hmm. but the strategies, it's just not working. Something is not aligned. So they come to me and they're certain that it's the strategy, right? It's like, I must be doing it wrong, or I must be going down the wrong path, or, right? So they're convinced that it's the strategy. Mm-hmm. So the first thing that I help them do is say, okay, step back from what you're doing, the strategy itself, and say, what are you saying about that? What's the story? What are the words you're using to yourself? How are you describing the situation? So I'll give you an example. This was perfect. This happened just yesterday with one of the company owners I was talking to. Uh-huh. And she was saying, you don't understand. I've tried everything. I've been trying to hire employees, good employees for a long time. And I guess it's just the area. Nobody here wants to work. Everybody I hire is cruddy. And I've tried everything. And so that's the story. So I asked her right off the bat, so let's talk about the truth. Is it true? Is it true that you've tried everything? So that's a very, right, everything on the planet to hire people. And she said, well, okay, no, that's not true. I've tried one thing several times, but I've tried the one thing over and over and over. I said, okay, so that's not true. So right off the bat, there was holes in her story.
Yeah.
And then I said, is it true that nobody in your whole area and where you live wants to work? She said, well, okay, I guess that's not true either. And so, right. And so we started just taking all those thoughts that had been just jumbled up in her mind, and it seemed true. But with that story, she wasn't able to do anything different. She wasn't able to see any other options. She was closed. So what it did is it closed her down. It closed her mind. It closed her creative mind, her resourcefulness. It closed it down because she kept saying over and over,
the same thing.
I can't hire. There's nobody good. Nobody wants to work for me. I tried everything. Well, if you've tried everything, then how do you fix it? You see?
Yeah.
So that's a good example of we have to tune in better about the story when a strategy isn't working. Something we're trying to do isn't working. That's the first place to start.
Perfect. Do you think you recommend every single business owner to have somebody in their team to have a mindset or like some kind of mindset in their team, or you don't think it's necessary to have a mindset team in your organization?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a huge advocate of having everyone, especially in management and if you're the owner, as an example, you getting mindset coaching support so that you can be that better leader, so you can lead your people to shift and change their mindset is huge, because 95% of success is mindset first. And then 5% becomes a strategy, maybe 10% in some cases. But honestly, it starts with mindset. So absolutely. My recommendation is, if you're not able to access a mindset coach directly, then start with really good books and YouTube videos, places that you can really shape and change your mindset. And I'm reading a book right now for mindset. I have several, but this one's topical for me, and it's wonderful for entrepreneurs. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
Here it is. Okay. It's called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker.
Okay,
Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And that is all about mindset. And if you're a business owner or you like to make money, then having a millionaire mindset is paramount. So that's a wonderful book. That's a great place to start. And then reach out and see what's available to you in terms of having a mindset coach, because it really, really makes a big difference. There's a big impact.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, like how it's very important to have that in the team, because sometimes we think like, how can I change their mind of my people working for me?
If you're in the Michiana area and would like to have us put your business or story out there for everyone to hear, sign up at MichianaBusinessPodcast.com. Until next time, thanks for listening.